Once, fame was rare. It was earned through years of study, mastery, or sacrifice. Artists painted. Scientists discovered. Writers wrote until their fingers trembled. Fame was the result, not the goal. Then, something changed. The age of screens arrived, and with it, a new religion, the church of attention. Its God, the algorithm, its prophets, the influencers, and we, the audience, became both worshippers and victims. We gave our time, our trust, our very identity, in exchange for a little light on our faces. We scroll, we like, we share, we believe. But what happens when the people shaping our thoughts are not thinkers at all, but just reflections of our collective hunger for noise? We live in the era of exposure. The sacred law is simple: be seen or you don't exist. The new royalty doesn't wear crowns, they wear brands. Their palaces are penthouses, their kingdoms are digital. They build empires out of selfies and scandals. Millions gather daily to watch their lives unfold, their breakfast, their arguments, their apologies. It's not entertainment anymore, it's ritual. The influencer posts, the followers react, and the algorithm decides who deserves worship next. We used to admire creators. Now we admire attention itself. We don't ask what something means, only whether it went viral. Truth, quality, depth, they're heavy stones in a world built for speed. And so, visibility replaced credibility. Fame became a substitute for excellence. Influencers understood something profound. People crave connection more than information. So they built personas made of warmth, relatability, and confession. They invite us into their homes, cry on camera, and share their traumas between sponsorships. It feels authentic because it's designed to feel authentic. Authenticity sells better than perfection ever did. We feel close to them, call them by their first names, and defend them like family. But this intimacy is an illusion with filters. It's the theater of vulnerability. Every tear has lighting. Every confession has timing. We think we know them, but what we know is their script. In ancient times, moral authority came from philosophers, religious leaders, and thinkers. Now, it comes from those who trend on Thursday. The digital prophets teach us what to eat, what to wear, what to believe. They tell us to be authentic while promoting the latest mask. To love ourselves while selling unattainable ideals. To speak our truth while censoring any truth that might hurt engagement. This isn't education. It's indoctrination. One sponsored post at a time. Every opinion becomes a brand extension. Every cause becomes an aesthetic. Even outrage is marketable now. We no longer debate to learn. We perform to belong. Controversy is the new currency. The more polarized we are, the richer the system becomes. Every time we react in anger or admiration, someone gets paid. We used to fear lies, now we fear being invisible. So we exaggerate, we provoke, we perform. The influencer knows this well. If peace doesn't sell, conflict will, and we, the public, love the spectacle. We condemn and click at the same time. In this modern marketplace, moral consistency is a liability. Changing your opinion isn't hypocrisy, it's strategy. We've turned influence into manipulation and leadership into marketing. Education once prepared minds for critical thinking. Now social media prepares them for reaction. Students don't dream of being scientists anymore, they dream of being viral. We no longer want to understand the world, we just want to trend in it. And when thinking disappears, truth becomes irrelevant. A civilization that stops thinking starts repeating. It becomes predictable, programmable, pliable. We are not being educated anymore. We are being trained to consume, to agree, to obey. What drives us to worship strangers? Perhaps it's loneliness, or boredom, or the illusion of belonging in a fragmented world. When we follow influencers, we borrow their confidence, their lifestyle, their chaos. We live through them vicariously, virtually, vainly. And the more we live through others, the less we live within ourselves. Influence has replaced introspection. And introspection, the capacity to question our own motives, is the root of wisdom. Without it, we are easy to control. But let's not pretend the influencers are villains. They are symptoms, not causes. They are the mirror we built with our own desires. Society rewards visibility, so the visible rise. They don't create the disease, they profit from it. Yet there's tragedy in their eyes too. To remain relevant, they must stay loud, controversial, exposed. Every silence feels like death. They can't stop performing. Because when your identity is your brand, rest feels like erasure. And so they burn brightly, and then they burn out completely. When was the last time we rewarded silence? When did patience become a virtue again? Our schools teach children how to answer, but not how to wonder. They memorize, but they do not internalize. Because the world outside rewards instant reaction, not slow reflection. The algorithm loves impulsivity, it feeds on emotion, not reason. And so our minds, once infinite in curiosity, are now wired like slot machines. Pull, refresh, repeat, until thinking feels inconvenient. When everything is visible, nothing is sacred. When everyone speaks, no one listens. When every idea must fit in a caption, wisdom becomes impossible. We are drowning in opinions, starving for understanding. The influencer era has given us quantity without quality, connection without community, and expression without depth. We confuse transparency with truth, popularity with value, and exposure with courage. And somewhere along the way, we forgot that silence too can be profound. The danger is not that influences exist. The danger is that they define reality. When trends become truth, democracy becomes theater. When performance replaces principles, leaders become actors and citizens become spectators. We scroll past suffering as if it were fiction. We confuse visibility with virtue. We live in a digital coliseum where attention is the only prize, and what dies in the process is discernment. So look in the mirror, not the digital one, the real one. Ask yourself, who am I following, and why? What do I consume daily? Whose values do I carry without realizing? Every follow shapes the world. Every share shapes the truth. Every silence shapes the future. Influence is power. But power without conscience corrupts the soul. We cannot blame those who lead us astray if we keep choosing not to lead ourselves. But there is still hope, because while noise dominates the surface, depth always survives beneath it. There are still creators who teach, not sell, who provoke reflection, not division, who remind us that influence, at its best, can elevate humanity, not exploit it. The antidote to manipulation is not censorship, it's discernment. We must learn again how to pause, how to question, how to think. Education must return to its purpose, not producing workers or followers, but awakening citizens and thinkers. The mind is not a mirror, it's a forge. It shapes reality. And if we don't shape it consciously, someone else will do it for us. Imagine a world where influence is earned, not bought. Where credibility matters more than charisma. Where truth, not trend, decides what spreads. It's not impossible, but it requires collective maturity, the courage to value meaning over entertainment. The influencer of the future should be the teacher, the scientist, the philosopher, the artist, anyone who dares to think beyond themselves, because the future doesn't belong to those who shout the loudest. It belongs to those who think the deepest. They say we are living in the information age, but information without wisdom is chaos. And chaos, disguised as freedom, becomes manipulation. We don't need less technology, we need more humanity. We don't need fewer influencers, we need more thinkers. We don't need to destroy fame, we need to restore its meaning. Because in the end, influence will always exist. The question is whether it elevates or enslaves, and that answer depends on what we choose to follow. You can be influenced, that's human. But never let yourself be owned. Question everything, especially what makes you comfortable. Think before you follow. Doubt before you share. Reflect before you react. Because thought is the last frontier of freedom, and maybe, just maybe, it's time to start thinking again. Thank you for watching. If this video gave you something to think about, please consider subscribing and sharing it. Let's keep the conversation going.